like, I'm serious. Like, I don't know what kind of thing or what kind of crazy world I've been brought into, but like, one of the things that you gotta understand about me is, that I'm not trying to, like, I'm not trying to like ever do anything that is, I'm not ever trying to do anything that is wrong. I don't hate on people. I respect and I love people. I have a lot of friends. They have friends. They have friends. They tell their friends, and so forth and so on. And I'm just trying to live a normal life. I've been smitten, and I've been down, and I'm literally trying to turn myself around. Because, dude, man, my life is like a storybook. And I was doing the documentary for you guys, the story of my life, and I'm still working on it. I am going to show you guys one day where I come from, like where I live, and, what I got going on. And I'm going to take a live trip one day, and I'm just going to go live, and I'm going to be like, look, I'm taking a trip down memory lane, North Dakota, going home, and, going back to, going home. Because I want to show you guys where I'm from. Like, where I'm from in Minnesota. Where I'm from in North Dakota. Show you where my mom and dad's houses, my old houses are. The ones that the house my dad built, But there's a lot of crazy things on my mind. And there's a lot of things that you gotta understand that I live in, that I do in my life, and I am happy. Oh yeah, I am happy. I'm very happy. It's just that I'm always afraid. I'm always afraid of being like forgotten about. All these people sit there and they say, Jack, you play KamoKlauZ. Jack, you do this. Jack, you live your life a lot differently than everybody else. But you believe in having fun. You believe in being cool. You believe in being calm, and collected. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, you are a proof positive guy. You are somebody who is not afraid to live your life and be happy. You're also not afraid to, you're not afraid to do what you gotta do. Like, you are always there for Minnesota After Dark, bro. Yeah, like, I mean, you're like the the dad of Minnesota After Dark. I mean, you're like the guy who is, the uncle, like, Uncle Jimmy of the group, So, if you guys ever hear me say Uncle Jimmy, or you ever hear me reference that in the documentary, Uncle Jimmy was a friend of mine, or he was the uncle of my friend TJ. My friend TJ White was a guy who, this dude was obsessed. He was from the Virginia Chronicles. Yeah, he was from the Virginia Chronicles. He was from the Virginia side of life. He came from Virginia Beach. He was basically this kid He was basically this kid that came from Virginia Beach, and he had rich parents. You know, he was a really laid-back, simpleton kind of guy, and he was really cool. And he was basically, so he was a guy that I met. So we moved to Breckenridge. We moved to Breckenridge Square in Leesburg. Yeah, we moved to Breckenridge Square in Leesburg, and we were there. And so I lived in Breckenridge Square, and it was like townhomes, bunch of like townhomes and shit. And I lived there, and I lived across the street from a guy who lived on an end unit. Really nice guy. And one summer, there was this kid that was there, and it was Derek and Aaron. And Derek was the kid that I hung out with. That's TJ's little brother. And I hung out with him all the way up to like the summertime. And then like when the summer came around, TJ showed up, and then we didn't really talk much. But I hung out with this really cool cat, and I've talked to you guys about this guy, and I call him Spawn Yeager. Yeah. I call him Spawn Yeager or Brian Sullivan. He was the Italian stallion to me. I mean, that's what he was. Brian Sullivan, part of the Leesburg Chronicles, he was one of my best friends. And to this day, he still has my back. Like, you know, his ass will, at a drop of a hat, he'd come to Virginia if I needed his ass. You know, if I had something wrong. And, jeez, man. And Brian Sullivan's got my back. So, if there's anybody who's got my back in Virginia, it's probably Brian. And then in Iowa, you know, that's Will Wilkins. I love Will. I mean, he's another Virginia Chronicle guy. But Brian Sullivan, you know, Dustin Van Camp, those guys were all the Virginia, or the Leesburg Chronicles. They were the Leesburg Chronicle guys. And what that means is, when I say Leesburg Chronicles, because, okay, so there was a newspaper called the Lemoore Chronicle. So the Lemoore Chronicle was the paper that was in Lemoore County, you know, in the town of Lemoore, North Dakota. That was the town that I lived in. I lived there until I was about, I think, I lived there until I was in kindergarten. We lived in North Dakota. We lived in Lemoore, North Dakota, until I was in kindergarten, and then we moved to Virginia. And when I lived in Virginia, I lived on Pomeroy Drive. Yeah, I lived on Pomeroy Drive, and then I lived in Gainsborough Drive. And then I lived in Pomeroy, Gainsborough, and then I lived in Breckenridge. And I mean, I loved my Virginia houses. I loved it. So I call them the Lemoore Chronicles when I lived in Lemoore. So that when I went back and forth, if you call the different times when I lived there, that's when I call them the Chronicles. Those are the different chapters in my life. So if you're from the Virginia Chronicles, then you're the people that I know, like Mo. I love Melissa Bergman. She was like my little sister. I mean, she is one of the greatest ladies in my life. She got me through a lot of things when I was going down, when Jamie and I and Casey Licky and I were dating and everything else. And you know, Melissa Bergman was one of the greatest chicks in my entire life. She was one of the Trax Revolution girls. Because she was part of Trax Revolution. She knew what was going on, and she was kick-ass. You know, she was one of the girls that you could basically say, hey, you know, I'm feeling down, I'm lonely and depressed, hang out with me, but I ain't going to try to do anything to you because you're like a sister to me. So I'm not going to try to sleep with you or anything like that. Because, I mean, that's what I thought Melissa was to me. I thought Melissa was like a little sister. I always loved Melissa, just like I love Brittany. Brittany was Dustin Van Camp's little sister, and Brittany Van Camp and I were like, we were really cool. And I still to this day miss Brittany. I miss Rebecca Assumption. Rebecca is another little sister of mine. She's Andrew Perkinson's little sister. I mean, she's the oldest. So that's Andrew's oldest sister. But Rebecca was a great friend of mine. She's the one that actually posted up those old pictures of me, you know, and her when we were hanging out. When we were hanging out in Washington, D.C. and having a good time and shit. And we were just hanging out. And I think Dustin took those pictures, if I'm not mistaken. But see, this is the reason why I need all the Trax Revolution memorabilia and stuff from Brittany and from everybody in the family, because I'm trying to do this documentary, and Trax Revolution is a really big thing in my life, and I'm never going to be done with it, because Trax Revolution is always going to be something that is always going to be a part of my life, and it was always the closest thing to me. And you guys, you know, if you guys are anything a part of my life, you guys know that Trax Revolution is always going to be around. I mean, our 30th anniversary of Trax Revolution is coming up soon, and it's going to be around. So, I mean, it's going to be something that's going to be happening. So, you know, we got to figure it out, y'all. But when Trax Revolution is still around, it's still a part of my life. It's still a business thing on Facebook. It's a business venture. I just haven't changed the names over yet because I haven't been able to log into the business account and turn up Trax Revolution and start it up again. But the thing is I'm going to figure it out, all right? I'm going to try to figure it out. But I want all my pictures. I want everything from Trax Revolution. I love and respect Dustin Van Camp so much that, you know what, if his parents don't want to give me this stuff, then fine, keep it, you know, but I wish that we could make memories somehow. And I keep bringing it up, and I keep telling Becky, I say, hey, can you talk to Brittany, and can you say to her, you know, hey, you know, pop a squat and, you know, make something happen, because, you know, I'm not trying to get the stuff because I, you know, want to sell it or anything. I'm getting it because I own that stuff. That's my life. And Dustin was our best photographer, and I miss Dustin every day. And all I want to do is make that stuff remotely available again for us, or make it available so that we can keep it up on our walls. Because I'm never going to do anything except for be JakKlauZ now, because I'm no longer Jack Craning. Because I'm working on trying to drop the craning, man. I'm no longer craning and training. Craning's dead. Yes. Jack Craning is gone. You know? I'm not physically dead. I'm emotionally gone. Jack Craning is not who I am anymore. I'm Jaximus or JakKlauZ. Because the reasoning is because I can do that kind of stuff. I can change my name and still be happy. Yes. Because I'm KamoKlauZ. Somebody asked me, they're like, dude, you don't have any pictures of your car. And I'm like, well, yeah, because it's always going to be changing. But this is the last time I'm going to change it. It's not going to be red, white, and blue anymore. No, it's not. It's going to go back to green and red. Because it's KamoKlauZ's, it's the KamoKlauZ sleigh. So it's going to be green and red. The inside's going to be green and red. Everything inside of it is going to be green and red, bro. It's because that is my life. That is my legacy. You know, the car is no longer, you know, is no longer going to be red and blue anymore. I'm going to take the American flag I'm going to buy a new American flag and keep the ducky on it, because that symbolizes I am an American and I love America. And if you don't love America, then get the hell out. But I'm going to be getting a new flag for the back of my car. But I'm also going to be painting my car red and green and getting it ready for the sleigh. Because I'm trying to buy another car. I'm trying to buy another vehicle and then turn the car into a sleigh. Which I know that sounds really stupid. But I also have a plan for Trax Revolution. Trax Revolution is not dead. It's still here. Yes, we're on 28 years. Going on 30. Well, we're on year 29 of Trax Revolution. Trax Revolution is still on the back burner. Yep, I still own Trax Revolution. But you want to know what Trax Revolution is going to become? Once I start getting things going, Trax Revolution is going to be everything with tracks. Meaning that if you have a car, it better have a pair of mat tracks on it. Or better have a pair of tracks on it. Because I am no longer going to drive with wheels. Every vehicle that I'm going to own from here on out is going to have tracks on it. So that's what Trax Revolution is going to become. Yes. Because I said I was going to do something big with Trax Revolution, and that's what I'm going to do. Trax Revolution has a new logo. It's got everything new in the works, bro. It does. It does. It's got a new logo. It's got a new everything. And you know what? If people don't like it, I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself. Because the thing is that Trax Revolution is something big in my life. And you know what? That's what I want it to be. So, if you guys ever think that I'm scared or I'm lost or I'm depressed, it's just because, one, I don't have everything all together in my life yet. I'm still trying to get by every day. I try to fight with everything to make my life the way that I want it to be. I want this KamoKlauZ thing to take off. I want Trax Revolution to take off. I want to just have that for my jobs and my business and go to work at Groom Transportation as a 9-to-5er, because I like this job at Groom Transportation. I love the job at Groom Transportation. I love doing the job at Groom Transportation. I told them I was never going to leave, and I'm not going to. They will have to fire me is the only way that they're going to get rid of me. Because I am not ever going to leave Groom because I enjoy it too much. I love it too much. Just like I like Minnesota After Dark. I gotta rebuy stickers and graphics and logos. I mean, shit, the windshield banner across the top is gonna be green and red. So I have to work on my car. Yeah? Look, I love everybody at Minnesota After Dark. They're the only people that seem to take care of me and seem to want me around. But you want to know something? There's also a lot of other people, and they're from the St. Cloud Chronicles. Anybody who's a part of the St. Cloud Chronicles are the new people in my life. They're the new people that are the ones that understand who I am. They get me. They know who I am. You know, like Mark Weber. Mark Weber's part of the St. Cloud Chronicles. But, see, everybody has to understand that I am going through a lot. And the one thing that I'm going through right now is the fact that my ex-wife, who I loved for 10 years, you know, finally her and I came to an agreement, and we realized to ourselves that we were just not compatible for each other. And it's not because we fought or we hated each other. We had fights, and real couples have fights. Yeah, I did some things. Yes, I did some things. Stupid fucking things. But I've always apologized. But I was loyal. I was always there for Joe. And if she wanted to be there, she would have been there. But she wasn't there because she would never ask me for help. And if I gave her help, or if I told her that I wanted to help her, she would never take my help. She would say thank you, and she would just walk away, or she'd move on, because she never wanted my help. But I love Joe, okay? I love her more than anything in the world, and I've straight up said that every time. Does she think that? I don't know what goes on in that mind of hers. I love her. I do. I care about her. But I also want her to be happy. I want her to be at home in England with her family. I want Louie and Brenda and those guys to grow up and be together forever as a family. I want them to have kids together. I want them to be happy. I want Ruby to grow up and get married and have kids. And, you know, so that Joe can have grandkids. Yes. I still love everybody in that family. But for some odd reason, everybody in that family has kind of blew me off. They've kind of just said, you know, I don't want anything to do with you. But I'm glad that that's the choice that they want. I mean, because I don't even talk to Blink anymore. I don't talk to Jenny anymore. I mean, they didn't really talk to me much anyway. But I still care about Joe. Yeah, Martin, I still care about you. I know you're a great guy and you're taking care of your family. But yet, to you, I'm probably an asshole. Because the thing is I'm not with Joe anymore. So you probably think I'm an asshole. You probably hate me. And that's your choice to hate me. But no, I just still love... But know this. I still love your sister. And kids, I still love your mom. But we've made the decision that we're not going to go back together with each other. We're just going to get this all over with and try to get it done. But, you know, it's something that needs to get taken care of. But, you know, do it whenever you're ready. I got to get my name changed. I want to start being somebody different. I want to be JakKlauZ in the state of Minnesota, because now it's time for me to live my life. It's time for me to grow up and die the way that I want to die. Like I said, I want to be one of those 65-year-old, you know, grandpas who looks like he's in his 20s, you know? But the thing is I'm going to start busting my ass. I am going to start working out. I'm going to start doing things. I'm going to start cleaning my house up. I'm going to start making things better. I mean, I did a favor for a friend of mine. You know, she's going through shit too. But I let her stay at my house because, you know, I care about her. Because I'm one of these kind of people who cares about everybody. Somebody told me that if you don't know Jack's the kind of person who would take his shirt off his back and give it to you, make you laugh until you cry happy tears. But if he were dead, he wouldn't want you to go to his funeral and cry. Don't put roses on my on my stone. Don't ever do that shit. Just come there and remember all the good things that I ever did. Because the one thing is I don't want anybody to cry for me. Because no one's allowed to cry for me. Because the thing is that when I'm gone, this world will probably stop. You know, I'm not saying I'm the son of God, and I'm not saying that I'm anything like that, but I am pretty close, because Jack means God's gift. That's what my grandma used to tell me. My grandma Marge used to tell me that. My grandma Marge used to tell me that I was God's gift. I always feel like I'm something, but I don't feel like I'm God's gift. I'm not God's gift to women, I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be like the situation from the Jersey Shore, or I'm ever going to be a good-looking guy, but, you know, I love myself to the point where I don't want to smoke anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. I just want to live my life every day like I don't have a reason to keep going. But I do have a reason to keep going. Everybody tells me, Jack, you have a reason to live. You're one of the best employees for Groom Transportation. You make people laugh. You make people have fun. You make people happy. You literally give your left nut to anybody, is what people keep on telling me. I mean, I had a guy, like I said last night in one of my rides home. He looked me up on YouTube, and he actually watched one of my videos. But the thing about it is that, yes, I say that my videos are not meant for kids because I'm swearing in them. And, you know, maybe swear words are swear words, but maybe I don't understand what they mean by not for kids. I mean, I don't have anything negative, you know, like, I don't have anything like nudity or anything in these videos. I don't talk about that kind of stuff, but my graphic novel has a few adult stuff in it, and adult situations and adult stuff in it, so that's why I haven't really got into my adult novel yet, because you guys aren't ready for that yet, and I want to get my computer together when I get that together, because that's something that I'm trying to get for my work mom. I have a second mother. Yeah, her name's Julie. She's one of the most nicest women I've ever been friends with. I love her so much. She's so great. I love my real mom. Now, I haven't really talked about my parents yet in the documentary, but I will talk about my mom and dad. Now, my dad is a wonderful guy. He's a really big construction guy. He was an NDSU alum, so he went to NDSU. He was, you know, I think he graduated from Lemoore High School in 1968 or 69, 68 or 69. I can't remember. But my dad went to the University of North Dakota, or he went to NDSU, actually, sorry. North Dakota State University, not UND. UND is where my niece Allie goes to. But my dad went to NDSU. My mom was a Valley City State alum. My mom was, a great girl. She was always a teacher. She always worked really hard, and she made everything work. My mom is a great woman. I love my mom to death. I mean, she has put up with me for 45 years of my life, and I don't talk much about my parents because I really don't know what my parents see in me, because sometimes I think I'm a waste of space to my parents. I think sometimes I'm just their joke, because sometimes I think my parents look down at me as like a mistake. And I sometimes think that I've wasted my mom and dad's time. Like I've never done anything right by my mom and dad. I mean, hell, I couldn't even shoot free throws or shoot layups or shoot, baskets right in my dad's eyes. I mean, I was never, gonna amount to anything. But this whole KamoKlauZ thing, I think I'm doing really well with that. And I think someday it'll take off, but I'm not quite sure. I really have no clue. But I know one thing, my mom and dad have taught me a lot of things. And my mom and dad have taught me just to be myself. Be humble. Always treat your friends the way that you want to be treated. Always, respect your elders, and always respect your older siblings, which I always do. But sometimes if I've ever made my parents unhappy. This whole thing with Joe, with my ex-wife and everything like that, I've tried so hard to try not to ever fuck up, but I know I fucked up a lot. I know I've done something wrong. I know that, bringing her here was something that she never wanted. I mean, I always thought that we were going to go to England, but we never had any money to go over there. We didn't have any money to go there. We didn't have any way to start a family there. And I think bringing Joe over here was one of the hardest things, for her and her family and her kids, because I think it was really hard for her to come over here because, she came over here and that was a one-way trip, because I don't think she was ever going to be able to go back, because we were never going to have the money for her to go back. We never were going to have that thing unless we saved. But, my ass never saved any money. But now that I'm living by myself, yeah, I'm saving money, and I'm trying real hard to get myself taken care of. Because the thing is I want to get all my shit done so that I can enjoy my life. And the only people that have ever taught me to save any kind of money is my parents, but I never listened to them. And now that I've listened to my parents, I'm like, yeah, it's about time I need to move on. Shit or get off the pot. But I never ever feel like, sometimes I never feel like I'm good enough for my mom and dad. That's just how I feel. That's my opinion. I'm the baby of the family, but I'm the black sheep. I'm the one that fucking, tries so freaking hard, but yet, tries so freaking hard, but yet doesn't know if he's doing the right thing. I'm just a person. I'm just living my life. That's all I can do, is live my life every day by going to work, putting in the hours, I mean, hell, I work for Groom. I put in 111 hours every 2 weeks. I mean, look at all my paycheck stubs. Everything from October of last year till now, I've put in over 100 hours. Yes. And I've worked really, really hard for this company. And I've done it all without having time and a half. Or without having, less than 14 hour or $14 an hour. Or $14.50 to $16.50 an hour. But I've been doing it because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to just go to work, not complain, and put in the time. Put in my shingle, like my dad told me to do. Basically, make yourself available for work. Be there for work. Let your boss know that you're there for them. That's what I tell everybody who comes to Groom. I'm like, hey, if you want a job there, let everybody know that you're available. Don't sugarcoat shit. Make yourself out there. Just get there and get done. Walk up to it like the crocodile hunter used to walk up to a crocodile and be like, crikey, look at the size of this alligator. I'm going to walk up to it and I'm going to be like really careful, but I'm going to do what I can. And see, when he did that, when Steve Irwin did that, everybody knew that he was going to go there and put everything that he had, pride, power, and everything, to make that crocodile his bitch. So that's what I do when I go to work. I make this job my bitch, is what I do, basically. Because the thing is I'm tired of letting jobs push me around like all these other jobs used to. Man, when I worked for MC Dean, okay? When I worked at MC Dean, I mean, there were guys that were sending me to different jobs all the time because they didn't like me. But I couldn't tell them, hey, dickhead, I want to work here. Because the thing is that I want to be here. I told them all the time, hey, instead of having me go from different job to job to job to job, why don't you let me do the job and you get out of my damn face? Because maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm doing because I've never done this job. Because I'm not a person who likes to work with his hands. Okay? I'm a person who likes to get behind the wheel of a vehicle and drive your stupid asses all over the place. Because that's what I like to do. My bosses at MC Dean, every single one of them, every guy that I've ever worked with, every boss that I had, except for Bill Dean. Bill Dean was one of the coolest guys in the entire world. But every other boss that I had, Mickey Dent, all those guys, they were all assholes. My project manager, Jeff, asshole. Buford, asshole. I mean, they were all assholes because they wanted me to be like my dad. And I'm sorry, I'm not a construction type person. I do not like manual labor because I don't understand why the hell, you have to measure this and cut this and turn this into that and run a wire all the way to Timbuktu when you can just make it so much easier and run the fucking thing, and splice it and be done with it. But everybody had to fucking, make everything so fucking hard. But when I work with Groom Transportation, when I work for Groom, every passenger that I drive, I love my passengers. I love them with a passion. I don't know who they are. All I know is their first name. I try to get them from the terminal to the office. Or I try to get them from the office to the terminal. Or I try to get them from the office or from the terminal to the office to Brainerd to Alexandria because I want them to get home. That's what I want to do. I want to get them home. Because I care about them. I care about Groom. I care about everything Groom Transportation. Because Groom Transportation is the job that I love more than anything in the world. And you're probably sitting here listening to me at the office, and you're probably like, well, how the heck is he doing it with a hands-free device? Well, I'm doing it with a hands-free device. Both hands are on the steering wheel. Yep. And I'm talking to my fans on my YouTube page because I started the video on a hands-free device before I left. And I plugged my phone in, so it's charging, but it's probably not going to charge. It's probably just going to die, and I don't know, but whatever. The thing is that you have got to understand, I love every single one of my passengers. I love anybody that I drive. Because anybody that I take from the airport to the office is not a fare. They're family. There's somebody that I want to drive down the road and get home. There's somebody that I would like to hang out with at the end of the day. They probably don't want to hang out with me, but you know what? I want to hang out with them. I want to get to know their family. I want to get to know who they are. But you know what? If they don't want to get to know me, that's their choice. I'll just sit here and drive them home. Because that's the kind of person I am. I love everybody that comes in contact with me. Because I am a Santa Claus. But I'm Santa's cousin. I'm a KamoKlauZ. I wear a red and green camo suit. And I spread cheer 365 days a year. I love being KamoKlauZ. And I do not want anybody to ever take that away from me. Because it's my thing. I started it 13 years ago, and I'm taking it with me to my grave. Because you want to know something? It's mine. And I am not letting somebody just take it away from me. And then they can run their damn business with it and turn it into a Bitcoin organization or some shit like that. It's my business. I'm KamoKlauZ. And I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. You want to know why I'm happy? It's because I believe in something and I think it's going to go far. And I really hope it does go far. I really hope that it goes, through the roof. Because, somebody told me one time that I was going to be a multimillionaire. And I was going to be the first multimillionaire in my family. But you want to know when that's going to happen? I have no idea. I have no idea when that's going to happen. I have no idea when I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I don't know when that's going to happen. But I'd like it to happen soon because I want it to happen soon because I feel like if it doesn't happen, I'm going to miss out on it and then I'm never going to be able to have it happen. Yeah. I mean, my boss, Andy, who I love so much. I mean, she's a great boss. She's one of the greatest people in the entire world. She's my boss. She took a picture of me dressed up as KamoKlauZ, and she put a thing in the company newsletter about me. Now, that is cool. And I am a legit figure at work. And people like it when I pick them up from the airport as KamoKlauZ. But I'm always working. My hair is changing colors. I'm turning white. Yes, my hair, my beard, everything is changing white. And I am getting ready to start being a legendary figure. Yes. Because I can't wait to literally be around to play KamoKlauZ until I'm 80, 90, 100 years old. Because somebody said that I might be the new Santa Claus from the new millennium. But I don't think I'm ever going to be that good. But then maybe I should stop doubting myself and just do it. Because maybe it'll happen. Maybe KamoKlauZ is the thing that everybody needs to bring this world together. Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that Donald Trump needs to write an executive order for me to be, KamoKlauZ for the rest of my life. But I mean, it'd be nice. I don't know. I know I'm not okay. I'm barely getting by. No, I'm just kidding. I just say things randomly and stuff like that because I just want to be funny. But, but you've got to understand that there is a world out there and a place for a guy like me, because the thing is I love people and I respect everybody. I respect everybody. I love everybody. And dude, I just want people to love me back. I'm not saying I want to take you home and but I'm just saying, there's a place in my heart for everybody I come in contact with, because I love people. All you need is love. But maybe they'll end up shooting me or somebody will end up killing me because I was showing too much love, because I didn't want the world to live in pain. I don't want anybody to suffer. I was watching this video the other day. You're watching this video the other day. You're watching this video the other day. There's this guy. He's a figure. He's drawn on a piece of paper. And he goes to this bridge. There's this guy who's got all this negative energy. And he's basically filled up with like negative energy. And it's all black. It's basically, it was a black and white cartoon, right? And so he goes over to the guy and he says, don't jump, don't jump off the bridge. And the guy grabs him, pulls him away from the bridge, and all the negative energy goes from the guy who was on the bridge to the guy who saved his life. And now he had all these burdens and all these problems. And then he goes and he takes all these problems, and now the guy has depression. The guy has depression, feels depressed, feels down, like nobody loves him, nobody cares for him. And so he goes and sees his dog. And the dog comes up to him, and the dog takes away all the guy's depression because he makes him happy, makes him feel good about himself. But then the dog dies. And then the guy has depression again because he misses his friend. Well, basically what I am to everybody that's a friend of mine is I'm a person who always tries to take away your burdens. I'm always a person who wants you to be happy, but I'll be miserable as hell. Because I don't want you to feel pain anymore, but I don't care whatever happens to me. And a lot of people look at me and they're like, Jack, you can't win the love of everybody. But you try so hard to do that because you're big-hearted. You're a guy who basically, at the end of the night, would go to a bar and look to see if there was anybody who wanted a ride home so they didn't get arrested, or didn't have to pay for a cab, or didn't have to drive home drunk. Because that's the kind of person you are. But then you realize to yourself that, hey, nobody would go home with you because, like, if you saw a girl and you said, hey, are you okay to drive home? And she'd be like, fuck you, brother. Like, or fuck you, bitch, you ain't driving me home. Because she'd think I'd be trying to get into her pants. And I'm not trying to get in anybody's pants. I'm trying to be nice. Because my time of trying to get with women anymore is over. Because why would anybody want to go home with an Eeyore when they can go home with a guy who's like, you know, got a fucking $500,000 house in St. Cloud, you know, drives around in a Mercedes, or drives around in a Cybertruck, or, you know, fucking works for a Fortune 500 company. Because nobody wants to go home with the guy who drives a van every day for a company called Broom Transportation. Nobody ever wants to go home with that guy. Because everybody thinks that I'm this dude who is a creep, because everybody associates me with some guy who lives in St. Cloud, who obviously used to be a hero to some people, but now he's a pedophile and a creep. Because no one is ever going to stop associating me with him, because they're never going to listen to this story. They're never going to listen to the real me. So you want to know why I do these lives all the time? It's because I'm trying to tell you, listen, you assholes, or listen, you fans, or listen, you friends, listen, everybody in the world. I am not a bad person. I'm a guy who lives his life every day thinking that something is going to end up happening to him, and then, you know what? The world is just going to stop and go, hey, what happened to that guy who used to do the videos all the time, who used to be on YouTube that told everybody, hey, love each other? What happened to that guy who used to drive around in a little red, white, and blue Mini Cooper and tried to make you feel good about yourself? What happened to that guy? I'm that guy. I'm that guy who grew up in the Uncle Phil era, who watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and didn't care if a family was all black, who was rich and lived in Bel-Air and was cool. You know, I wanted to be a part of that family. I wanted to be a part of the Cosbys. I wanted to be a part of Silver Spoons. I wanted to be a part of everything. Not because they had money, because there was love. They didn't care about what you did. They cared about your achievements and how you worked and lived and did cool stuff. My parents have praised me. My parents have told me that I've done good things. But the world has never told me that I've done good. But I'm only one man in a world of 68 billion people in this world. Almost 70 billion people in this world. I'm one man. And I'm one man trying to live his life every day to his best, to his fullest. Because you want to know why? Because the thing is I don't want anybody else to feel like they don't matter. Now, yes, I know my last rant and my last video was like, it was a wild kind of night. It was one of those days. Or it was the wild lose. But you want to know something? I can't control what happens in a hockey team. I can just keep on cheering for them and hope someday that their dream comes true, where they win the Stanley Cup. You know, I can't sit here and tell people what kind of music to listen to or what kind of things to listen to. But you want to know something? I would like to have my own TV show. I would like to have my own reality TV show. But I would like to be able to say what I want to say. I don't want it to be scripted. I don't care who you voted for. I see all these girls on these profiles for, like, you know, dating apps and stuff like that, and they say, if you voted for Trump or you're a Trumper, then swipe left. or don't like me. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Who cares who you voted for? Just because you voted for Trump doesn't make you any different of a person. I mean, because you wanted to see something different. You wanted to see somebody different in the White House. But I didn't want to see Kamala Harris in there because she was already part of this shit. She was already part of this shit. She was the vice president for Joe Biden. So we've already seen it. I mean, we saw it with Obama. You know, it went Obama, Biden, then Harris. But see, I didn't see anything better. But I don't care about politics. I don't care. Just make eggs back to $2 a dozen. You know, put gas back to $2. Quit fucking with China. And quit fucking with, Canada. And quit fucking with everybody. Just love people. Yes. Just start loving people. We don't need violence. We don't need, people to hate on people. Shit, I would rather have people argue about owning a Cybertruck or owning 3 of the manufacturers, Dodge, Ford, and Chevys. That's what I like to argue about. Yeah. If you want to drive a Cybertruck, drive a fucking Cybertruck. If you want to fucking, if you want to fucking, smoke weed, smoke fucking weed. If you want to take steroids, take steroids. Don't play sports, I mean, if you want to be happy, be happy. Live your life, bro. Enjoy your life. Enjoy it for yourself. Your fruits of your labor. Everything that you've put forth your effort for. Just live your life. Have fun. Don't worry about what somebody else did. Because that's their problem to deal with, not yours. I mean, it's like this shit with everything that happens in people's lives. Their past is in the past. That means it's gone. It's time for them to move on and start living their life. So they get a brand new day. It's a present. So they open the present and they freaking live their lives. See, I just say, that we got to thank veterans for one day. Thank everybody that lived and that was before us. Martin Luther King, he did a lot of things in this world. He was trying to be equal. He was trying to make equality for everybody. And it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. Cut yourself open once. You all bleed red. You all bleed crimson. Red. You bleed blood. Shit, when you go to a donation center and you donate plasma or you donate, blood or whatever you donate, the only difference in it is OB, and it still helps lives. It still brings life to people in other countries and other parts of the world. It makes people happy. If you believe in Allah, or you believe in God, or you believe in Odin, you believe in somebody. It's cold, Lo. Oh. Zoe, I'm in the middle of a podcast right now. The what's it called thing is, the heater is right above your head, but it should be turned on. I mean, the heaters, it'll be warming up because it's supposed to be 70 in the house. Yeah. It's supposed to be like 70 in the house, or 68 is what the thermostat's set for. But just go grab some blankets for my bed. Grab the blue ones if you want them. But the thing is that we all bleed red. Yes, we all bleed red if you cut us open. We all believe in God. We all believe that there was a God, that there was somebody before us that had to have made this, you know? But we don't need to fight over stupid shit. No. We need to live our lives every day and be happy for one another. I mean, you know what we need to do? Instead of going out and playing, instead of going out and having a turf war about who lives in a better world, or, stealing for something, if somebody wants something, buy it for them. If they can't afford it, buy it for them. Or help them out. Or say, hey, I have this, and I don't need it anymore. Here, I'll give you this. But then, if a person gives you something, don't feel like you are low income or anything like that. Just accept it. Just accept it and say, hey, thank you. Because people always give away stuff that they don't really need. People always go out and buy stuff that they don't fucking need. Because they want it because it looks cool. They never buy it because they need it. No. People have never bought anything because they actually need it. I mean, when I go to Walmart, if I need something, I'll go buy it. I'm not going to steal it. No. And if I don't have the money for it, I'll wait and get it at a different time. Because you can always get something at a different time. You don't have to get it like right then and there. No. And I learned that because when I was a kid, I always wanted everything. And I got everything. But then when I got it, I realized to myself that I was stupid and I could have waited. I could have saved money and bought something bigger. Because that's what you do. You save money and you move on. If you really and truly need it. But the reason why I want to turn my Mini Cooper into a car or into a sleigh is because I think it'd be really cool to take the car that I really and truly like a lot and turn it into something that I really love doing. And driving around as a sleigh would be really cool. I think that'd be awesome. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, I mean, that's cool. That's the great thing in life. But I'm probably just sitting here blowing smoke up your ass and making you realize to yourself that, Jack's probably talking out his ass again, and, he shouldn't be saying some of the things that he says. But there are things in life that people need to be told, and they need to realize to themselves that, yes, maybe they're right. Sometimes when your elders tell you something, just because they tell you, they're not trying to get your goat, or they're not trying to take it away from you. They're probably trying to say to you, hey, maybe, dude, you got over in my lane as I was getting over. I had my turn signal on. Did you not see that? Dumbass? Because you were getting over like right when I was getting over. So I saw you. Write the number down. Go ahead. I moved over and I had my turn signal on. Are you going to follow me the whole way or what? Seriously? What the fuck do you want? Maybe if you wouldn't be like driving like a douchebag. Stupid cunt. Yeah, because people who drive in Minnesota don't have any patience for anybody else. But I had my turn signal on, and I got over into the lane, and then you came over 3 freaking lanes like you always freaking do, because you guys don't know how to drive. Yeah, I don't understand why people don't know how to drive around here, because they obviously don't. Yeah, I had my turn signal on, and you cut in front, like, you cut 3 lanes right when I was getting over, so you didn't pay any attention to me. You just figured, oh, I'm just going to get in this lane because I know better. But anyway, people in this world just sometimes don't, people in this world sometimes just are worried about themselves. They're selfish. And they don't care about other people. But maybe the world needs to start caring about each other. And not getting mad at a president because he's trying to do something. Maybe he has a reason why he wants to do this. Maybe he sees that it will better somebody. Maybe he sees that it'll help us all come together as a better world. Because nobody wants to fight. Yeah, nobody wants to fight. Everybody wants to help each other out. I wouldn't mind helping Canada out if they would help us out. Because maybe if we helped each other grow, instead of helped each other, get mad at each other all the time over stupid shit, maybe the world would be a better place. Who knows, man? Who really knows? Because we live in a world where we all need to just sometimes take a step back and realize to ourselves that, hey, if the world loved each other, the world would be a better place. And see, like people ask me things. They're like, like, I had a guy one day, I was just walking around, and he asked me for a cigarette. And I said, dude, I don't smoke. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I was like, hey, man, it's okay. And he's like, okay. And then he said to me, he's like, dude, can you buy me a pack of smokes? And I said, yeah, I'll help you out, man. What do you got? Or what do you need? And, I went in there and bought him a lighter and a pack of smokes. Did I care? No. Because the thing is that someday that guy's going to turn around and he's going to be a multi-millionaire and he's going to be laying there on the ground and he's going to be like, hey, you were that guy that sold me and got me a pack of cigarettes. I'll be like, yeah. And he goes, need any money? Because maybe someday that'll happen. You just never know. So that's why I always think about positive things. And maybe that's what Trump's thinking when he's like, well, maybe if we bought Canada and we came together with Canada and we made them the 51st state, maybe we could all come together and live as one. I don't really think that Trump's trying to do anything wrong with people. He doesn't want to fight with anybody. He's a businessman. He just wants to business. He just wants to build and collect. That's what he wants to do. Same way with Elon. They have money. Yeah, that's what they want to do. Build and collect, bro. That's all they want to do. It's like Monopoly. Shit, I'll buy Baltic Avenue because nobody else wants to buy it. They want to buy up everything so that there's nothing else for anybody else. That's the kind of world we live in. But, you know what? They'll make it worth our damn while Because they don't want us to be left out. Because then we can go up to Canada and we can visit Canada without having to use passports. Because it's our neighbor to the north. Yeah. It'll be a 51st state. Because at one time, all the land was owned by the Native Americans. Yes, it was. The land was owned by Native Americans. And we haven't to this day paid them back yet for everything they deserve. But, you know, you're probably saying, Jack, you're wrong. You don't know your shit. You're just talking out your ass like everything else. But you want to know something? And I don't have an internet connection. Now I have an internet connection, so like, bite me. But anyway, look. So, we live in a world where if people were to start getting along with each other, things would be a lot different. Now, hockey games, you know, hockey games are hockey games. But when the hockey game is over, it dies there. Yes. It dies there. But that's between the players. Now me, I was mad because, you know, I was tired of listening to the guys on the radio sit there and say that the Islanders played so much better than us. Well, the Islanders did come to play, and we carried around a security blanket and basically lost the game and tucked our dick between our tails. We tucked our dick between our legs, and we pretty much pissed it away. That's what we did. Yes, we did. Because we did. We pissed away a game that we should have won on paper. Because that's what we should have done. We should have won that game on paper, and that's what we should have done. It should have been over and done with, and that's it. And that's how it should have been. But the thing is that there is no way you can tell me that, you know, the Wild came there to play. They basically coasted. Because from the sound of the, you know, for the first period, it sounded like it was the Islanders handing us our fucking jock straps. Because basically, we didn't do a damn thing. But that's where everything is different. But anyway, you know, I live my life every day like it's my last day on this earth. And I come to work. I do what I have to do. And I feel like every day is a new day. Because it is. But you know, I don't know why things always feel one-sided. But my final thought of the night is this. My final thought of the night is this. I just wish that people in this world can get along with each other, be happy, and enjoy life. It's like when you go to church and you say, when the pastor says, Look at the person next to you and say, peace be with you, and also with you. I wish that more and more people would just say I love you to each other. It doesn't have to be any other way. Just say I love you. Just see what happens. Go from there. And, just make the world a better place. Not make the world great again. Make the world a better place. One person at a time. This has been JakKlauZ, and this is JakKlauZ Live, or JakKlauZ TV. And I just want to tell you, I'm JakKlauZ and you're not. Have a good night, or have a good morning.